Betty, how you doing? Oh my goodness, you guys are already going wild. Jeremy, hey buddy, how you doing? I'll watch my words today. I hear this is a hot button topic. You never know. Hi Kathy, how are you? I slept a little bit last night. Glenn, how are you doing, buddy? Kathleen, hello, hello, hello. And Lisa, how are you? Karen, hello, hello. Uh-oh, shoot, it figures. Wouldn't be right if I didn't have one of my volumes up, right? Buttons, buttons. I got lots of buttons. How about you guys? Hi, Michelle. How are you doing? Don't know who that person is. Who let them in? Hey, Ethel. Shirley, how you doing? Hi, April. You told your mom to watch today. She was just sorting buttons the other day to sell in her antique booth. Not sure if she'll join or watch the live or replay. Well, I hope she watches one of them and that I can help her out. I don't know enough about buttons to really be teaching about them, but I do know enough about researching them to help you guys out. This light's going to drive me nuts. Let me hang on a second. Somehow it shuts off. There we go. Sorry about that, you guys. Hi, Nancy. You have so many buttons from a past life. That's where they came from. Haven't dug into selling them yet, so this will be great. It will be great. It will be great. I have a lot of buttons. I'm going to share with you. I'm going to share with you good places to find them and other people that you can hit up to give you some more information on them, because it's a big thing. Buttons are a big thing all the way around. And I always knew they were a big thing. I didn't realize how many different kinds there really were until I really started researching this. Hi, Constance. Let's see. Hello, hello, hello. Let's see, Constance. There's Miss Amy. Oh, I missed her. Switching around there. Hello, Miss Ansley. How are you? How are you? How are you? You're okay? You're here? All right. Whew. Hi, Sherry. Sherry had surgery last Friday. She's alive and she's kicking. How you feeling today? I hope much better. Hi, Christy and Julie. You can ask any question you want. That's what we're here for. If I don't know the answer, I bet somebody in chat does. Hi, Constance. All right. So welcome in. For those of you that didn't make it to the live, thank you for watching afterwards. And I hope I can teach you something. Oh, I bet. Hi, Sue. Thanks. I kind of was, I've been bullied, you guys. I've been bullied my whole life. I'm just joking. But I've had a few people who shall remain nameless tell me that I should, do something with my hair, brush it, or put some lipstick on, or do something. So here you go. That's what you get. I spent 4 hours today helping set up an estate sale. It's going to take us 3 weeks to set it up. Yep. Just came across 75 Betsy Clark recipe cards. Should I sell individually, full lot, or smaller lots? Did you do any comps on them? Personally, I think I would sell them in one lot. But what I haven't done is we can look them up real quick. Oh, really? Chrome tab. Share. Really? There we go. Entire screen. No, screen 2. They've done so much to let me pull up. We'll do this real quick and help Julie out. because I can spell. I can't talk and spell at the same time. It's been proven. See, I even spelled it wrong. Betsy Clark. They're not, are they Hallmark? Thank you. Is that who you're talking about, Betsy Clark Hallmark? That is spelled wrong. Hey, girl, hey, you changed your picture. I like it. Yes, Hallmark. Do you see what I have up here? That's an album. I guess I need to click on this. Here is an album with recipe card holders. Here's vintage used recipe cards for $10. Here's a whole stack. 1978 vintage. Here's what's cooking double recipe card set of 30 fold out 6x5. Is that basically what you've got? They are folded to 3x5 line 5 cards, all the same, all unused. Well, so there's 5 cards to a fold. Are they just like these right here? Maybe different pictures. Yep. I would do it just like this. Just like this right here. So a lot. So here's, yes, but they all have a Betsy. It's Betsy, not Betty. That could be why you're not finding them. Betsy Clark. So just borrow one of, let's go out of here. They look more like this little girl, like these little darlings right here. So just find one of these. It's okay. I have speech typos, so don't feel bad. I have typos too. So just find one of these and price it high and let it fly, right? Are they more like this one? That's what I look like when I get up in the morning. See her face. Just find one of these. You have, what did you say? You have 5 there. I don't know. Try it and see. Try saying you have so many sets of 5 and let them go that way. But it looks like if you have something that somebody else doesn't have, here is Betsy Clark cards. Those are cards. Here's our recipe cards though. So go ahead and sell them in a lot of 5. See, here's a different, these are 1973 Betsy Clark recipe album and the cards. So that's a choice you have to make, whether you want to sell them in lots of 5 or if you want to sell the whole thing together. I think you would probably sell them faster if you sell all of them together, if that makes sense. Hey girl, hey. The little girl is in the corner of the card. Yep. I would. There are a lot for sale. Do you only sell on eBay? Do you sell on Mercari or Etsy? It might be worth it to look over there on those 2 sites and see what is posted over there. Betsy Clark sells well. She's really hot right now. So everybody has her stuff up. Of course, I don't like wearing my hair down. It drives me nuts. Any of you that know me know that that's a short drive. Oh, absolutely, Julie. Absolutely. I almost always go to Google first. I just happened to be in eBay, so that's where I went. But if it's a saturated market on eBay and Etsy, check out Mercari. I mean, you may not have an account. You guys, did you see in the description? I signed up for Mercari. I got my account all set. I've been on Mercari since 2018 as a seller. So I redid all my stuff and started it back up. Did the same thing on Etsy. Listed one thing on Etsy, sold it in 2 hours, $79.99. May or may not have been somebody I knew that purchased it. I'm not going to out anybody, but I appreciate them greatly. Anyway, so go and look on Mercari and see what Mercari has. And if you don't have an account on Mercari and they don't have a lot, sign up. List them on Mercari. That's the best advice that I can give you guys right now. eBay is slow. Everything is slow. So I haven't 100%. I've been on Poshmark forever. I've just never sold. I mean, like, I have a selling account. I've just never sold on Poshmark. So one of those I've been on since like 2010. It's hilarious. So that's what stubbornness will get you. So if you're having a hard time making sales on one platform, you know what everybody says, don't keep all your eggs in one basket. And so at this point in time, that's all I do. This is my income. So we have to know. And this girl right here will tell you, don't keep all your eggs in one basket. There's plenty of other platforms out there to sell on. Hi, Courtney. How are you? All right. So, like I said, for those of you who are just coming in, I don't know. I'm not an expert. As a matter of fact, in my description, it literally says, and I shall point this out to you. Hang on a second here. By the way, in no way, shape, or form am I anywhere close to an expert on any of this, nor will I ever claim to be, but I sure am able to research and point you towards people who are as well. All of my links are below. I put in the Auction Professor's link down here because he has several. He has more than several. He just did one last week. Videos on military buttons and antique clothing buttons. You'll have to go way back for that one. But if you type buttons, vintage buttons into the YouTube search bar, he will come up. And I put Courtney in there because I knew I was going to talk about her. I don't know anything about any of my category videos. I do it and learn. Yep. And then there are 3 links: grandmother's buttons, Mitzi's miscellany, and button floozies down below that we are going to go and check out. So all of that stuff is below in the, wonder why hashtag Mercari's in there. Wonder who did that. That's hilarious. Below in the description, right? Okay. So if you need any information, saw a nice person giving another advice on Bolo Buddy's page today and thought of you, Courtney. So nice to have that platform to ask questions. It is. Don is a button nerd. He's got some real skill in that area. He is a button nerd and has been a button nerd for years. And hey, Miss Jen, how are you? And I have known Don for years. And so I can't even think of a better person to send you guys to. And if you don't know what a military button is, I have a few. Let's just look. And these are modern. Okay, let's talk about that real quick. Jen, you're pretty. You're so pretty. When you, all right, let's just use This is how you're going to see buttons most of the time at an estate sale or at in somebody's booth at a mall. Sometimes they'll have them like this. I think I paid $14 for this, and I paid $14 because of some of the buttons that are in here. But you can see, can you see some metal ones? Let's see. See right up there, those, even the ones on the card. See right there by my finger? There's some metal ones in there. So when I say modern, that could be post-World War, right? These all came out of one. I separate my buttons like people separate Legos. This whole jar came out of one little bag, and there's all kinds. You got something like that. Maybe something like that. They will all have some form of a shank. I think that's what it's called on the back. This one is really cool. It says, I don't know what it says. That's hilarious because I think it's Latin. It's old. Oh, I hate this camera. All you guys are going to see is dry skin. Will that, if I hold it long enough, will it? And then it's got that kind of a back. Can you see how it's got that metal piece on it? Hi, Sharon. Hi, Mama Beth. So, and then you have this one that has, I should have put this around here the other way so that I could actually look at these and tell you what they say. If you guys don't have one of these, I would strongly suggest for you to find one. Don't go try to buy one brand new. This one actually has Jacob Reed's and Sons, Morristown, Pennsylvania, and it's a military, and this would be what Dawn would call a modern button. Don't ever throw away a button or donate it. Hey, Chrissy, how are you? But most of these buttons will have, some form of writing on the back of them if they're military, and some form of something on the front, right? Now, you can Google Lens these, but that's not going to necessarily tell you where they came from, how old they are, or stuff like that. And in order to get this one right here, would have gone on a lapel or a hat. See how it has the little pin back? Or it could have gone on, what is that, an epaulette on the shoulders? I don't know. So military buttons are not something I'm really going to talk to you about, other than this one has a screw back. So other than, I will refer you 100% over to Dawn. Though the clothes, your clothing, now you know something about. You got that, Courtney? Military buttons will close your clothing. Or buttons will close your clothing. Sometimes damaged clothing, okay, that's something I think. Thanks, Glenn. You guys, Jen, will you put Glenn's channel link in for me, please? I don't care if you think, I don't care what you think. That's not true. If you, yes, it's a magnified lighting arm magnification thing. It's magnified. See, it's got the light that way and this way. And I also use the light. Oh boy, that's a scary. I use it a lot, and I have several of them, and I have given several of them away. It's not very great for they're super expensive. I had several of them when I did welding inspection and stuff like that. So Every time I get buttons, I go through and I separate out all of the metal, anything that looks military-ish, right? Here's more. These ones are not military, so they're more clothier. As in, here's some wooden ones. These are leather. I don't know how well you can see. So they're the leather on, you'll find these lots of times on leather jackets, right? So, and then you have, getting ahead of myself though. See, those have the Swarovski crystals in them. Anyway, this must have been a bag I started a while back. I have, I think I did these when Jan was here, actually, because I remember her and I looking at them. So to me, separating buttons is like somebody else sorting through Legos, right? You could just sit and do it for hours. Get yourself a big cookie sheet out and just dump all those suckers on there. Order yourself some baggies. This is what I did last night. That picture, my thumbnail picture, is actually on my dining room table. One baggie. Let's talk about where you can get and what should you pay for them. You can get them anywhere. You can get them at the Goodwill. Yes, you can find buttons at the Goodwill. Bags of buttons. You can find them on Harbor Freight. Sells a magnet light, side light, black light, USB contraption for like $22. That's not bad. It's not the same though. I know what you're talking about. Any light is good, right? I like this with the magnification on it because I'll tell you what. Sometimes I have a hard time using my loupe. I put my camera underneath it with the magnification, my phone, the camera underneath it with the magnification, and holy moly. Oh, thank you so much, Sharon. You did not have to do that. You sold your first Tupperware. Yay. Good for you. Goodwill sells buttons and lots. This is Amy. When you guys hear me talk about Amy, it's usually Evan Owen. She watches the Goodwill auction lots like crazy. Hang on, I got to shut my heater off. Well, hello. Anyway, yeah. Glenn brought up, Swamp Picker brought up damaged clothing having buttons on them. So I have a Leatherman's tool. Everybody knows what that is, correct? A little multi-purpose tool. Leatherman was the first one to bring them out. I have a little tiny one. It's literally like this big. I was going to bring it in and show you guys. It's on my keychain. It was specifically made for women to go on your keychain. It has scissors. It has a knife. It's tiny, like literally it's that big. Not our Goodwills, no button lots. Well, let me tell you something. I bought at the regular Goodwill here several years ago. I have to find it. 6 of them, huge books like this, and they were salesman samples button books, and I sold them for a lot of money. I found they were on the very bottom rack shelf, and might have been 3 years ago, 2 or 3 years ago. I can't remember. Shop Goodwill online is what Amy's talking about. So the button lots that she watches, she does a lot of watching on shopgoodwill.com. So I bought those books for $5 a piece, and they were loaded, and they had every kind of button you could imagine to have in them. And I sold them for a lot of money. And then some of them were missing, buttons here and there had fallen out because they were old. They looked like scrapbooks. So that's what drew me to them. The millinery samples books sell very well. Yes, they do. I'm pretty sure that if you went far enough back on my Instagram, you could probably find a post where I posted about them. Would be my guess, because it's been a couple of years, but I don't clear my stories and stuff from my Instagram, so I know for a fact that they're still on there. Okay, so if you are at the Goodwill bins and you run across a Chanel jacket, and let's say it's just tortured. It's tortured beyond torturing. There's no saving it. There's no saving it for the cloth. Well, I'll tell you right now, you better cut the tag out of it and you better cut the buttons off of it. And that's why I carry that little tiny thing on my keychain. Anything else, somebody else, go through those bins that everybody's been through and go check them out. Buttons. You can always find a Ziploc bag somewhere in one of the bins. Buttons, locks, and zippers. Same with purses. If you come across a purse that is tortured, and I mean just tortured beyond torture, and it's a good purse, cut all the hardware off of it. Hi, Tina Lou. How are you, girlfriend? Take the tags, Chanel tag. I was looking up buttons last night. People that, let's just do this. Where was I? See this? You guys see these? Vintage Chanel buttons. Either somebody got them, because these ones I looked up and they're shipping from Japan, so they probably very well came from wherever. Who's not wrenched? Sharon? Hang on. There you go. There you go. Now, next time you talk, you should be blue. I can't see in my I cannot see in my StreamYard who's wrenched and who isn't. And I have the channel up on my phone over here so I can wrench you. So if we went, let's go over here to eBay. These ones right here could very well be somebody else that has them. This is somebody that found it. Lots of times you can tell by the background. Here's 3 buttons. 9, they're bids. But what we're going to do here is we're going to go to sold items. See all these old clothes here that there's something wrong with them, but they're talking about the buttons. Let me go down here a little bit. This is a lot, okay? I did it when I did Sharon. I'm fast like that, Julie. You got to watch out. All right. These are probably brand new. Where was this seller from? Free standard shipping, gold collection jewels, $159. So maybe not. You see a Chanel something. There's a Chanel lock. There's the Chanel other. Who knows where they got them from? And for what they sold them for, they had to probably go and get authenticated. Not sure about that, but when you see a purse or a coat that has a zipper pull on it, that's any of these Chanel, Yves Saint Laurent, and it goes on, right? I wrenched you when I wrenched Sharon. That's how you got wrenched. See this gold chain right here? If you found one of these Chanel bags, if you found this Chanel bag, and the bag was tortured, but the chain was still good, I would literally buy the whole bag just for that chain. So, or you could cut it off. I mean, that's totally up to you. So when you, it's not going to let me do that. When you see a jacket like this at the bins, let's see if it shows us. See these buttons right here? Look at those buttons. If this jacket is tortured at the bins, see that tag right there? There are vintage clothiers that repair these and they will buy those from you. You can sell them. So even if this jacket was tortured, maybe, is it wool? What does it say? Is it wool? Is it wool? So let's say there's some holes in it from moth holes in it. You can still buy this and sell this. They will buy this for the fabric. Somebody will take that fabric and make something else out of it. There's many different ways that you can sell this item right here. If you find it at the bins and it is tortured, I like that word. That's the word I like to use, tortured, right? But when you find a piece like this, if it is tortured more than what you want to deal with it, cut the tag out, cut the buttons off, and off you go. That's right. Timed himself out. What is that? Free picnic? Oh, that's hilarious. Hey, BCP, how you doing? I hate digging through clothes. Now you got me curious enough to dig. Yeah, I don't really necessarily like to dig through clothes either, but I'll tell you something right now. If you see, you guys will see older military clothes in the bins. And when I say older, they could just be camouflage. They could be whatever. If they're tortured, they still have buttons. Those guys need buttons to replace their buttons. They're not cheap. Buttons are not cheap. Military buttons are not cheap. I don't care what century they're from. Everybody have a drink of water. We need to stay hydrated. All right. So, holy moly, look at that. Chanel. Givenchy. Did I say that right? Probably not. That's okay. Trying to get down here too. Here's another. I think that this might have been the seller that was from Japan. No. See all these items? Louis Vuitton. Chanel vintage buttons. I wonder why they didn't put Louis Vuitton in there, because that gold one right there is Louis Vuitton. $1,100, you guys. Let's see what they say. They don't say where they gold and silver. There was a set that I saw last night that I don't know. They look like they might have come off of one of these kind of jackets. Let's see. I can't remember how far down I had to go to get to buttons. Well, let's just do that. Okay, I'm not going to try to make any of you guys sick, but they're down here a bit. Look at all of these clothing that you can get. Here's another set. Chanel vintage stamped charms and bracelet sets, not necessarily button. Chanel part charm rhinestone red. This one looks like either they have it turned over, so they got those off of who knows what they got them. Stamped metal buttons, lot of 50 buttons, mixed sizes and shapes. Who knows where they got them? There you go. You will find those. You will find those There you go. There's another set. I bet money they cut these off of something. And I would not have sold them like that. But $500. How many are there? A lot of 10, 50 buttons. So there's 10 there, 10 there, 10 there. Who knows where they got them from? Doesn't matter. What I'm just trying to make a point that you can, all of these pieces of clothes, and if you do happen to find if you do happen to find them at the bins and you can get the piece of clothing that they came off of, that might even help you as well. Hey Mary, how you doing, girl? So the buttons are actual gold and silver. Some of them are. Some of them are. And if you have a vintage set still on the card, big money. Yes, we are going to get to that. We are going to get to that. Let's see how far we have to go to actually get to some more buttons. Here's some more buttons. 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 Okay, see what I'm saying? So these ones, who would think that these buttons would sell for this much money? Well, you know now. It's not necessarily the button, it's what's on the button, right? White pearl, vintage pearl white buttons. We're going to talk about pearl buttons here in a minute. So, all right, let's go out of this. So when you are, if you're a bins picker and you're at the bins and you're looking at clothing, I'm going to tell you right now, if you wear a fanny pack or a backpack or whatever, if there's several little things that you should have when you're at the bins. You need a little tiny screwdriver so that you can open up battery compartments to make sure things aren't corroded. If you wear a fanny pack and you're gonna do that because you look at stuff like that, might not be a bad idea to throw a few batteries in there. At our bins here in Washington and Oregon, anything that's electrical, and that includes battery operated, is 69 cents a pound. And they just raised the prices. It used to be $1.29 a pound. Excuse me. It used to be $1.29 a pound. $1.59 if you got 25 pounds or over. And I think they just raised it to $1.79. I don't go as often as I used to, and I probably should never go again, but I'll go just to make videos for you guys because I know you like it. You like the videos. All right. So a screwdriver, which is on my, and you can just get a regular Leatherman's. I bet any of you guys that go sourcing at estate sales, garage sales, whatever, you just go into the garage, you'll find a Leatherman. It doesn't have to be the Leatherman brand. You can go to Harbor Freight and get one. You can go to anywhere and just get one of those. I don't carry a purse or a fanny pack or backpack. I wear leggings. I have pockets on both sides, and I usually have a sweatshirt on. I can't stand to have things hanging on me because I get down on my hands and knees and I look through boxes and stuff like that. I don't want to have to worry about a bag somewhere. But that little Leatherman's tool, I'm telling you right now, I have it on my keychain, and I have one of these little black lights on my keychain too. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 25 of these. I have one of those on my keychain too. You wear a fanny bag as a crossbody. Yeah, a lot of people do. I just personally can't stand it always. And they're nice, right? And they even make specific ones, a fanny style one. But so if you're gonna Leatherman squirt, is that what it's called? Yep. I love it. I love it. I love it. Yes, they do. All right. So that is one way to source and get buttons off of all kinds of things. Let me just tell you something. Levi's buttons, those sell for pretty good money most of the time too. We can look them up. It wasn't something I had planned on it, but I know you guys see a lot of jeans. So, and we're not just talking the metal ones, right? Here's a metal one, here's a metal one, all these different Levi Strauss pin, all these different apparel tags. These tags, those are biggie. All of these little Levi's buttons. So if you see these two vintage retro Levi Strauss & Co. refrigerator magnets. All right, that got me. Here's a metal button. I personally would sell more than one at a time. $3.50. Lots of people do bread and butter. I'm not dogging on anybody at all. I personally, these buttons right here, this button, any of these buttons, it takes a special little thing to set them, but I'll tell you what, you can just cut them right off and sell them too. Batteries, blacklight, magnifying glass. No need to add tiny scissors. A screwdriver isn't going to do anything for you when you need scissors. But I have all of that in my Leatherman's tool. And it's just one little thing. But yes, and a tiny black light flashlight. And you can get those on, oh geez, I don't even know. I gave a bunch of these away when I hit 1,000. They're just little tiny. I think you can get 25 of them for $50 or something like that. I've had mine. I've given away so many of them, it's not even funny. It just goes right on your keychain. Anyway, they're very nice to have. This must be I don't know what else I have in here. Oh, maybe too. Anyway, so that's where that is. Where else can you get? Where else can you get them? A rivet set. Yep, BCP. We all love BCP. He's the bomb diggity. So I won't pay more than $20 for the most part for a lot of buttons because I'm cheap and I know that I can get them. I paid $5 for this bag. I sorted through all of these last night. These are all Bakelite, every single one of them. If you guys don't know how to test Bakelite, you can get a tube of semichrome cream. These are Bakelite. Do those serve another purpose besides for resellers? I don't know, Nancy. There's two of these. There were two of them. If you can sell your buttons in pairs, I don't care if you have 8 of them. To look at hotel bedding, I don't look at. Why do you guys freak out about that stuff? Why is everybody so freaked out about everything? Do you know that bed bugs live in the wood, not in the mattresses? They live in the wood, and they come out into the mattresses when somebody's in them. That's all the info you're getting out of me. There was 2 of these. This can be worn as a pendant as well. They're huge. I think these are Bakelite. I have to test them. Do you guys inspect your silverware before you eat with it too, and your plates and your dishes at a restaurant? Oh, you're killing me. You're killing me. I have to give you a hard time. Would be right if I didn't. All right. So I paid $5 for this bag, and there's probably over $1,000 worth of buttons in here. There's glass buttons, check glass. We're going to talk about, I don't know how far down here the glass buttons are. Because it wouldn't have been right if I'd have put them up on top, right? Oh, I found a I'll show you that in just a second. Glass buttons, there they are, had a meaning, the black glass buttons, and we're going to talk about that when we go on this one site here, which you guys are going to love. At least I hope you will. I think it's great. Glass buttons, black glass buttons. Hey Mike, how are you? No money in buttons. All right, thanks for helping me out there, buddy. I never can not depend on your help for that. All right. I have 3 of these, but this one's pretty damaged. But I will still sell it. I'll put it in with the other 2. You see that? See how the back of it is? I've got to do something with this camera. I have, this all came out of that bag. One of these black glass buttons were made for more, I shouldn't say were made for. You'll find them and you won't think they're glass. All you have to do is put them on your face and they're cold. They make a different sound when you tap them, but you can really tell by, this one's super tiny. It's just a little square one. Black glass buttons. This one was in some form of a metal backing. This had a metal backing on it. That's the back. It would have been in a metal. Any vulcanite? I don't have any that I know of. Blacklight posters, man. That's right, blacklight posters. But that little blacklight. You're going to find all kinds of things in these bags, right? So I found this little, I don't know why I can never think of the name of these. It's a pin. It was made in Italy. It is a mini, somebody help me. I was just talking about it yesterday. What are they called? Black glass button from Morning Clothing. And they had them made in Italy. Is it going to focus ever? Mini mosaic. Thank you. Oh, man, that's irritating. Anyway, this was in the button bag. So I try to stay $20 and under unless I am somewhere that I can open the bag up or the thing out, the jar, say it's a jar. I paid $14 for this one and I paid $14 for this one and I paid $17, but you're getting double duty here. You're getting 2 really cool older jars. And you're also getting the buttons. This one actually has quite a few older military buttons in it. So if you have $300, you can go online and it didn't work. It doesn't work, Courtney. I wish it did. This bag of buttons I got in New York when I went with Jan and I paid $3 for it. Mostly because there's a lot of Bakelite. Ooh, you can smell it. This was a glass button that got damaged probably from travel. That's really too bad. That's really sad. That breaks my heart, actually. Here's another glass button. Cloth covered buttons. Bakelite. Celluloid. What's this one? See, Courtney, it just doesn't work. Some form of, could be military, could be railroad, could be a service button from one of the railroads. So that's as a matter of fact, I was helping do a clean out setup, blah blah blah. Even these buttons. Even these, Disney. These are newer, right? These buttons are even worth some money too. I got to figure out. Is that better? Let's see now. There you go. So I thought this one still had, I paid $3 for this one too. This right here is, these right here are the ones you make the cloth buttons out of. You'll take your piece of cloth and you put it over here and you make your buttons. This right here is Bakelite, made to look like leather. Here's a really cool Bakelite one. If you get clothing or bedding secondhand and you fear bed bugs, put the items in a sealed plastic bag. Yep. There's too many things in this world to be afraid of. Constantly be afraid of everything. I can't do it. The anxiety would keep me inside. One other really good place, and this is going to include your second bolo, that I always give you guys an extra little bolo, right? Sherry and I went to, Sherry she was in the chat earlier. She had surgery on her jaw last Friday. Half of it done. Let's see. She had this side done, right? She's getting the other side done. She had an infection in her bone, I believe. Anyway, needless to say, she and I went to an estate sale, and it was pretty exciting. We had loaded her car up, and I had to go get mine. And they had two of these. And this is your extra bolo. I paid $20 for each of them. I will make so much money off of them. It's not even funny. This is a sewing kit. It's plastic. It's in really nice shape. Right lower jaw replaced. She's getting the other side done here soon. So we were looking at these, and I saw that. Look at the wedding dress just for the card. This might be worth about 10, 15 bucks. And then I saw these metal buttons, and there's a whole nother thing of buttons in here. And Sherry was looking at these. Here's your other thing that you can spend money on. This is actually silk thread, and it's on a wooden bobbin. There's a bunch of silk thread in here, actually, now that I'm actually looking that it's silk. But all of these little pieces that are in here, there's so much stuff in here, it's not even funny. Bobbins. If you didn't know it, bobbins can make you some really good money. You don't even have to take the thread off. There's do you guys know what this is? It's a button hook to button your shoes. Speaking of buttons, but here's a pair of scissors you can take with you in your pocket. These ones need to go away. They're tortured. Marbles, buttons, and then you take the top tray out. Very graciously let me buy both of these. You take the top tray out, and this thing is loaded. It's got googly eyes. It's got buttons and buttons and buttons and buttons on the cards. Here is a Bakelite short shirt clip. This thing is loaded, and it's got another tray that comes out. If you guys aren't looking at these old sewing kits, there are so many buttons in here. It's not even funny. Just a ton of buttons. Threads, snaps, vintage. This isn't bric-a-brac. Vintage ribbons. So just tons. Zippers. I have a video on zippers, Talon zippers, this kind of stuff, all this stuff. $20. I will there's so much in here to make money off of. I'll make $20 just on the case itself. Right? Keep your eyes open for this, you guys. This was at the same estate sale, and I got, this isn't gonna shut right. Who did I miss? Did I miss somebody? Didn't those little thread sisters used to come with that sewing machine baggie? Some of them did. You can buy them. This isn't gonna shut right. You can buy them separately too. Those little clippies, and then here's the other one. Same exact thing. Is actually going to go through this and sell right here. That's $40 right here. These are vintage Wiss WISS pinking shears. See how they have the edge on them? Yeah. So, it's just like people love these, the wooden spools, right? But the buttons is what I was more after, the buttons. Here is a vintage hair clip. It's aluminum num num. This is the same thing, 3 levels. I think this is the one that really got me, because holy moly. This is all buttons, all of it. This is brushed, it's not brushed celluloid. And this might be celluloid, but it might be Casein. We're going to talk about all that. I'm promising you. I'm going to talk about all of these. And so, here's a grouping of buttons that somebody nicely put together, or that's how they bought them like that and they just never used them. So that's a military button right there. Cutco scissors. There are certain color model that gets big money. Yes, you are correct. You are 100% correct about that. So I don't think there's as much good stuff in the bottom of this one as there was in the other one. Nope, just a bunch of old vintage seam edging and stuff like that. This will sell just for the picture on it. So there's probably several $100s worth of buttons in here. That's a really cool one. I think it's plastic. I'm going to have my son show me. I'm going to either that, or I'm going to go in and do some homework on. I got to get that camera fixed so that next week. Oh, hey, here you go, Jeremy. Send me your address. I'll send you these. This is a nice pair. Let's see if I can figure it out. These, I think you can wear on a chain around your neck. Let's see if they have a name on them. I can't read it. So there you go. I'm probably going to kill myself trying to fold these up too. Nothing on the box. All these little thingy-mabobbies, right? Sewing machine needles that you can't get anymore because they don't make them the same way. Here's a pack of universal sewing machine needles. If you guys don't know about those, look them up as well. All of this stuff It's like gold. It's like gold in a little box. It's a latch hook. A latch hook. A latch hook hook to do latch hooks. Okay, so you have at least one of those in a sewing box and maybe 4 pairs of Fiskars. Ooh, I love Fiskars. And somebody, yes. And we're going to talk about that too here in just a minute. How do you know the difference between celluloid and plain old plastic? We're going to talk about that in a minute. See Jules' question I need to know too. Is that the one I just asked? Or is there another one? The sound color. It's still listed a couple of years later, but maybe too high. Revisit the listings. Yep, that's what I would do. And I don't know how many of you guys go to how many of you guys know George the Antique Nomad? We have a thing here twice a year. It's at the it's at the convention center, and it's not at the convention center. Marie, help me. It's actually about 2.5 miles from my house, actually. And it's the Portland Rose Antique Vintage Fair or something like that. Anyway, there is a lady there that has buttons and buttons and buttons and buttons on cards. She literally gets these buttons and she sews them on the cards. I mean, that's dedication for you right there. The expo. Yes, thank you. Everybody say hi to my wonderful real estate lady. So you can make more money, I think, selling buttons at a vintage fair and a flea market sometimes if you spend the time to do that. But oh my goodness, you're absolutely welcome. So one other place, I talked about the bins. I talked about, there was something else I wanted to talk about before we get into the meat and potatoes. I lost my train of thought. Oh, okay. All right. Military. I was at an estate sale with Terry Mindful Recycle. I don't know how many. Hey, Derek, how are you, buddy? How goes it? And actually, we met at one. She left to go to another one. And then I went to meet her at that one. And she'd already left to go to another one. And then she called. It was super hot out, you guys. It was so hot. It wasn't even funny. And this place was super hot. And she called me and she goes, "Where are you?" And I go, "I'm still at the second one." And she goes, "That means there's good stuff there." And she goes, "I'll be right back." You're crazy, but I love you. Anyway, so she came over. Well, I had found in one of the bedrooms at the foot of the bed, there was a bookshelf that had the TV and stuff on it. But on that bookshelf were some military books. The minute that I know that there's somebody in the family that was military, which happened to be the husband, I know there's going to be a sewing room, and I know there's going to be buttons. And so if you, and there were, we were about done. And I said, there was one room I hadn't been in, and that was the sewing room. And so Terry went to pay, and I went in the sewing room, and all I was looking for was buttons, and I found them. It's one of these bags over here. And most estate sale people have no idea nor the time to care. They will just put a price, 5, 10, 15, 20 bucks on whatever it is. It's usually worth it to pay that much. I usually try not to pay more than 20 bucks just because I'm cheap, and it's a lot of work. I have a lot of buttons over here that I've already sorted. You can put them in lots and you can make lots of money, I will sort out all the mother of pearl, all the abalone, all of the Bakelite. I will sort them all out into the different types. Okay. That's what you need to do if you just want to sit and sort. Sooner or later, you'll figure it out. If you don't know, this is what you want to get. As a matter of fact, I just had to order some new. This is what you want to get if you want to test for Bakelite. All you have to do is get a Q-tip, and this little tube right here will last you forever. You need just a little tiny bit on the end of a Q-tip, and you rub that on the Bakelite, and if it turns a certain color, believe it's orange, then it's Bakelite. That's how you tell Bakelite. There's other ways that they tell you to do it. Rub it on your pants. It'll smell like formaldehyde, all that good stuff. Good luck with that. Good luck with that. After a while, you will get to know. You need to come out here. After a while, you'll get to know what Bakelite looks at. If Bakelite is an amazing thing, and they used it in many, many, many different forms. There are many kitchen utensils that have Bakelite handles, and not just kitchen utensils. The old toasters, the old toaster ovens, some of the older appliances have Bakelite on them because they were made in the era when Bakelite was made. You just got it and haven't used it yet. Do you have to clean it off the Bakelite after testing it? Well, I would just wipe it off. Your tube is like 6 years old. Yep. You know, my nose stinks. I need the polish. I think you're going to have to rub that piece of Bakelite so hard on your pants that if you're wearing jeans, you better be feeling the burn through it. I'm just going to tell you. And it's just easier. All right, Kathleen, thank you so much for being here. So let's go over here. The first link is to Grandmother's Buttons, the Grandmother's Buttons Guide to Vintage and Antique Buttons. You guys and gals and peoples, right there. Yep. This site, this is amazing. So when you get here, you're going to want to go to Button Stories and Antique and Vintage Button Guide. But before we do that, I want you guys to see something. They have jewelry. So let's go to Special Collection. No. Oh, here we go. All of their jewelry is made from buttons. All of this jewelry is made from buttons. Go check this website out. It is amazing. But I mean, whether you check it out for the jewelry or you're checking it out, see, look at all of these are buttons. Amelia bracelet. All of these are amazing buttons that they have turned into jewelry with other things, obviously. These are buttons. Okay, so this spot right here, all of these different things when you click abalone. Abalone is a type of mollusk that is similar to a mussel. The inside of its shell is a vividly iridescent. Oh, hey. Actually, this was one that my dad found when we were kids. It's one of the few things I have that was his. Some abalone is illegal. This is an abalone shell. This one has been polished on the inside. I actually have quite a few from California that I bought, guys. So this is your abalone, right? All right, for both vividly iridescent and can be thinly sliced for both of these reasons. It's popular material for buttons, for all kinds of things, all kinds of jewelry, right? Buttons. It's commonly used both to create whole buttons and as a decorative inlay for buttons made of other materials like glass or horn. It's going to tell you about every porcelain. It tells you all about it. The aesthetic movement, Art Deco, Art Nouveau, and it tells you the story and how to know. Remember I told you we'd talk about American Pearl? The pearl buttons like the, you got a cha-ching? Woohoo! Hi, Beth. No, the best part. No, it wasn't. Freshwater mussel shells harvested from the Mississippi River. Pay attention to this because this they almost put these little things out of not out of commission, but what's the word when extinction. Freshwater mussel shells harvested from the Mississippi River were commonly used for manufacturing of mother of pearl buttons. Now, a lot of people think mother of pearl and abalone are the same thing, and they are not. From the 1800s through the 1960s, most of the pearl button manufacturing companies were located on the Mississippi River in Iowa. One of the largest of these was the American Pearl Button Company of Washington, which operated from 1908 to 1964. At its peak, the company produced 20,000 buttons per day, which they sold on their distinctive Lady Washington button cards. A few decades after the company closed its stores, the great-grandson of the original owner decided to sell the remaining stock, and we bought it all. The site bought it all. So these are, you can go on here and click, it'll take you to Pinterest and you can see these. So I had books of these. All right. Bakelite. Bakelite is widely considered to be one of the first synthetic plastics. It was invented in New York by a Belgian-American chemist named Leo Baekeland in 1907. Bakelite does not conduct electricity. It is heat resistant and can be molded, extruded, or carved, which made it a revolutionary discovery in its day. Before World War II, it was used as an electrical insulator for products like radios and television sets, as well as in the manufacturing of common household goods like kitchenware, jewelry, toys, and of course, buttons. After World War II, Bakelite fell out of use as more efficient and inexpensive types of plastic were developed. In recent years, the retro appeal of Bakelite products has triggered a resurgence in their popularity. Today, figural Bakelite buttons, which are often referred to as goofies, are highly sought after and an expensive collectible. So that is the story on Bakelite. Now, while we're on Bakelite, I want to go down here to Celluloid and Casein because they are in the same class as Bakelite. But Celluloid, I believe you're going to get more money for Celluloid and pretty much anything. So let's look at Celluloid. Celluloid is a synthetic plastic that was discovered in 1869. When did they say Bakelite was? 1907. So that makes celluloid older, right? When John Wesley Hyatt combined cellulose with camphor while trying to find an ivory alternative for billiard balls. In the 19th century, celluloid was primarily manufactured in thin sheets, dyed to imitate marble, granite, or tortoiseshell. It was also commonly applied to paper to provide a clear protective layer. Also, oh, for crying out loud. If I was organized, sometimes you will find items such as this. It is, I don't know what it is, to tell you the honest truth. It's it was made in Germany. It's something, it's a it's a measuring wheel type thing for engineers. This is not glass. This is celluloid. It'll pop out of there. Celluloid was used for a lot of stuff like that. Just happened to have that here, and I wanted to show it to you guys. Commonly applied to paper to provide a clear protective layer. Celluloid was also a common material used in button production until it was banned for being overly flammable. After World War II, in Victorian era buttons, thin layers of celluloid were most often sandwiched between layers of metal. In the 19th century, button manufacturers molded, extruded, or layered celluloid into buttons. So right here are a couple of celluloid buttons that they're showing. Okay, the other one that goes right along with those two is Casein, which is a type of plastic that was invented in 1897. This one was 1869. So it would have been celluloid, Casein, and then Bakelite, right? Because Bakelite was 1907. So celluloid, Casein, Bakelite. Good night. Thanks for coming in. Hey, Pam, how are you? More money for Bakelite than celluloid. Celluloid, anything Christmas, or do I have any of my celluloid Christmas stuff? Anything Christmas or Halloween that's made out of celluloid is worth a lot of money. But as far as buttons go, yes. Thanks, Anna. So casein, it was manufactured from a natural protein found in milk, because casein is one of those proteins in milk products, and formaldehyde. Casein plastics are most commonly used to fabricate small consumer items like buttons, beads, buckles, combs, umbrella handles, and knitting needles. So you'll see these. A lot of people will look at these and think they're Bakelite. So celluloid, casein, and Bakelite. And then you have all of these. You have enamel. You have champleve. I don't know. I took French in high school, but it didn't stick with me. If you don't use it, you lose it. Enamel. Cloisonne. Every one of these has something, I'm not going to go through all of them. That's why I put this is so cool. How can you tell if something is celluloid or just plastic? Celluloid is so thin and brittle. Hang on a second. I don't think I have any celluloid buttons. I can't answer that question, but you see this? It looks like just a cheap old little piece of plastic. Same with this. Maybe this one's better because it's bigger. Wow, the light is horrible. This is celluloid. It is a good site, and I do too, Pam. I was so excited when I found it. I mean, I was just like, because I really do love buttons, and there is, I can't really tell you. Button books for research are expensive, and they're harder to find. Celluloid is very brittle, very sharp sounding. I'm so Goldstone or Gold Fluis. This is a German, I think it's glass. Glass, yes. Okay. they have these inlay. Let's see if they have, where's the black glass? Self shank. This is something, a shank is a separate piece, usually a small loop. I showed you guys some of those earlier. But all of these, where was it? I can't remember if it was in here. Okay, here we go. Jet. These are the black glass, like I showed you earlier. Jet glass buttons are the most iconic and plentiful antique buttons in our collection. When Queen Victoria's husband Albert died in 1861, she went into mourning and wore black for the rest of her life. Her dower gowns were embellished with the black buttons made with a lightweight coal-like mineral called jet. The Queen sparked a fashion trend, and so manufacturers started mass producing black buttons made of bohemian pressed glass, which was much more economical than organic jet. Jet buttons remained popular until the early 20th century when more colorful fashions came into vogue. Also, the fact that jet buttons are glass, almost all glass buttons will not withstand washing machines. Okay. Hello, hello. How are you? So beyond all of this right here. Oh, for crying out loud, I got to refresh this. It does this to me every time. If you go to their buttonology blog, look at you guys. There are vlogs on everything. Celluloid, when plastic was fantastic. There's a whole vlog on celluloid and the magic of paper mache and horn inlay, florography, spectacles, the beauty of Bethlehem pearls, the origins of Victoria area scraps and scrapbooking, antique enamels. So you could, here's the what's her name, the Queen. She was only like 4'8", believe it or not. Here she is here again too. This whole thing, this is, look at this. This is hilarious. That's her. See that dress? That's how tall she was. And these are the jet buttons that they talked about. And after she had been somewhere in here, I read this whole thing because it was really interesting. You can learn a lot. Some is very thin, like thin toys, and some Christmas ornaments. These are hollow and you could crush if you tried. Yes, very, very true, Karen. Hey, Greg, how you doing? Oh, sorry. All right, let's go back up here. Here is Queen Victoria. She was 4'8". That was her dress, one of her dresses. And here are some of the jet buttons that she wore on her dresses. And this is some of the buttons that were made to, these are Bohemian jet glass buttons from their museum. So when you go, sorry about that, you guys. I'm glad I looked. When you go into grandmother's buttons, it has all of these. I need to go back up here because you guys didn't get to see these. All of these different vlogs, antique and vintage button guide, the button museum, buttonology blog, designers, cut steel. They will go in here even further, and there's more. Perfume buttons. These buttons are so cool. Ins and outs of family editions. Buttons of bravery. Here's the beautiful Bethlehem pearls. These are antique inlays. Morning wear was a thing, a big thing. these are paper mache and horn inlay. See aren't those gorgeous? So, you know, buy the buttons. They're not going to go anywhere. And then the link to this is down in the description. Okay, you guys? And you can go geek out on this like I did. Celluloid was when plastic was fantastic. So there's your whole thing that's going to give you a little bit more information on celluloid. She was as tall as she was round. That's about right. Okay, so then I found this gal. I have a bunch of these. This is Welcome to the World of Buttons. It's Mitzi's Miscellany. Also in the description. Your keyboard has a mind of its own. These are cool. And you can learn a little. She's talking about Queen Victoria too, and the Victorian jet buttons are popularized during the long mourning period, which was the rest of her life. To identify the age of a metal button, look at the back. If the shank is a twisted wire that's embedded in the metal, like this one right here, lower left, it's probably manufactured before 1918 and considered an antique button. For those of you that have been here since the beginning, if the button is a self shank right here, a metal back that has a hole through it, the button is considered a modern metal button post 1918. Okay, it's still antique, but you understand the difference between having the embedded metal and the self shank. That's how you're going to know how old one of these buttons are usually. Now anything can be changed, right? You have a ton of buttons to sort through. Good. You gonna take them with you to the grave, Mike? Just saying. Even if you have common buttons that aren't high value. Yep. For sure. Hey, Paul. Oh, how did I miss you? Hey, Paul. That's hilarious. How you doing, buddy? I mean, seriously, you gonna take them with you? What are you gonna do with them? All right. Tiny glass buttons in all different colors from her stash. You know, they're gorgeous. Cut steel buttons and picture buttons from the Victorian era. These are cut steel. I have some of those I found last night when I was sorting through one bag. If you want to visit a fun website that celebrates buttons, check out the Button Floozies. Okay, here we go. For the love of a button. Linked below as well. So happy National Button Day, which I guess is November 13th. She has all kinds of different things that as Amy was telling you, crafters like to do. Look, let's see if the number one website for us. I don't care. Just look at this head vase. And she took all of these buttons, all of these little things that you guys, I shouldn't say you guys, all of these little things that people don't think are worth much of anything. What is in here? I have gone over this, I don't know how many times. Vintage plastic foliage. Who are you talking about? My mother? I don't think so. Vintage plastic foliage. And look at the old planters. And then they took the buttons and they took the felt. How about this? They took the buttons and made them look like chocolates and put them in a tin. So if you're a crafter, you have a vintage head vase to list. You better get that done. If you're a crafter and you like to do this kind of stuff, here's some amazing, they took this old cuckoo clock there's some ideas for you on what people do with all of these buttons. So don't discount the small buttons. Don't discount these little tiny ones that may be nothing to you. Put them in a big lot. And is it going to go back? And sell them. Button bouquets. Here it shows you how to, let's see, is that going to take me to Pinterest? Look at, would you look at that? All of these different things that people do with buttons. So let's look real quick before I go out of this. We'll leave that open. Let's look at some prices. I tear these estate sales apart. I frantically searched for the morning jewelry. I know it's here. Oh my goodness. Here's a button card, like the button books that I sold. $1,650. One card, 143 foil lampwork glass buttons. Rosette shank. Here's more. Look at these. Still on the card. These aren't sold, but they're gorgeous. The card's gorgeous. Who cares if it's ripped? They don't care. Check glass, 40 bucks. That card could have been in one of those sewing kits that I bought. Right? Here's a little one for you. Do you guys know this stuff is worth money? I just listed one. That's why it's there, because I was looking at them. Okay. Glass. Wow. All right. I was going to say there's no way that's a button. That's not a button. All of these buttons. Is this not sold? I thought I had solds looked up. These are not sold. Antique metal, brass, wood, glass buttons, Victorian buttons, vintage lot, over 2 pounds. They're asking for this. There's some good buttons in there. I don't think there's $875 worth, but who am I? Look at, then they put them all out here. Oh my gosh, you guys, those 2 black ones right there are glass. For sure. Glass morning buttons, and maybe those 2 black ones up there too. Okay. Those are all glass. I showed you a couple like those 3 little ones, they and the purple ones. These are all glass right here. Look at the wooden ones. Oh my gosh. See up there, the 2 in the back. I wish I could point to them. Those 2 bigger ones, those are leather. They're leather wrapped. So they would have wood or metal, and they're leather wrapped, and they would have, they'll have, more often than not, they'll have that wire on them too, because they were used. It would be cool if we could see the back of them. They were used on like leather. Look at some of those buttons in there. Yep. Anyway, so there you go. That's one way to sell. That's one way to sell your buttons. Here's another lot, antique button lot, mixed Victorian. There's a lot of Bakelite in that tin right there. That tin right there has a bunch of Bakelite in it. I can see it. There's a bunch of cut metal right down there. Okay, in the very left-hand bottom corner, and then that big button that's tan on the outside and brown on the inside is more than likely Bakelite. And I can tell you that by the color of it. There's some beautiful buttons here. And a Millefiore, that's either a button or a marble. So there you go, you guys. And a lot of these older, I don't see, there you go. Those are super old. See the back? See the wire coming through the back? Those are gorgeous. Could very well have, they have some kind of a crystal in them. It's like a whole, that's Bakelite right there. After you've held it and seen it and done a lot with it, these white ones right here are, I guarantee you that they're white milk glass. So and you will see that, and you can look those up. Look at these. Lot antique Victorian black glass buttons. Or urges. Oh. Hey, I got a question for you guys. Is eBay, did you just hear my phone go off? That sound, that's that sound, usually somebody wanting to send you a message. My eBay has been doing that for 2 weeks now. That's an offer. Somebody's sending me an offer. Are you guys getting that too? Instead of the cha-ching for an offer, are you getting that darling sound? All right, now let's go back here. I want to show you guys some solds. Huge lot, 3,300. That's a lot of buttons to count. Vintage check glass buttons, assorted colors, shapes, and sizes. Okay, so they took a best offer. What was their best offer? Let's find out. Not very hard to find out. Most of you know this by now, but there may be somebody new in here. If you have an eBay seller hub, you can, let's see. Let's just do this. I don't want to mess up my other thing. You go right up here to research and you put that in there and you hit research and it'll come right down here. $750 is what they sold that for. So this that says 3,300 is very deceiving, because when you go in and look, it shows you exactly what they paid for, what they sold it for on January 21st. That's still a lot of money for buttons. Sorry about that. Heck, I'm not counting them either. Sometimes not getting a sound for offers. Huh. Somebody else was saying that they were having problems with it too, so I thought I'd ask you guys to see. Okay. See glass buttons. Okay, here we go. All right, so let's go back and look. By the way, I have already had this sorted to, oh, for crying out loud. Let's just close those out. I have this sorted highest price plus shipping. All right, these ones, 40, beautiful vintage lot of 40 plus small to medium glass buttons, $3,000. They got that for this. Look at these buttons. Some of these buttons are a lavender color, which means that the glass was made with, oh, what's the, can't think what the name of it is. Cadmium? No. This was an amazing sale. Look at this. Go through your buttons. Don't discount that. Don't have to have a huge lot of 3,300 buttons. These are in amazing condition. This button right here floored me. Rare antique Goodyear button. NR Co. Rubber with glass OME opalescent center. And something I learned about these opalescent centers too, because I listed a necklace that was opalescent. Look at this button. I want you to see that they didn't even clean it. That makes it even better. Courtney, are you still listening? This person doesn't clean either. So don't feel so bad. Let's see. It says on here, Goodyear SF SPT company. This whole button is rubber with an opaline bead in the center of it. And I'll bet money that if you put a purple light on that button, it will glow. Buttons in Florida are cheap. Pennsylvania, they go high. Pennsylvania is smaller than Florida, right? There you go. That's why. Just continue. Here's a lacy glass picture button, $305. A lot of 12 pieces, check rhinestone trees. Okay, those aren't buttons. Here is a lovely antique Paris BK waistcoat button with hand enameled turquoise glass jewel. So here we go. 15 pounds of antique and vintage buttons, glass, metal, Bakelite, and celluloid. I'll weigh it. I'll do that. 33 bids. It's just amazing. So go through the solds. Antique 1860s gilt brass button with brilliant faceted paste glass jewels. You will see a lot of these. This is amazing. Who would have picked this up? Who would have even looked at this? Just a round pink button. They make it look big there. They don't have it. See how it's almost white on the bottom? Antique French gilt brass button with lovely pink Limoges enameled glass jewel. How do they know that? That I cannot answer. We'll see if they put it in here. Beautiful button is out of a Parisian estate, and it was listed as being circa the 1920s period, and as having been bought in Limoges while on summer holiday. The bubble gum pink glass enameled white cab is set into a gilt brass pronged setting. I'm never going to get this far into buttons. That's amazing. So there you have it. That's amazing. $179.50 for one button. Does it say the size? There's no 5/8 inches in diameter, so a little bit over half an inch. That's tiny, you guys. Absolutely. You're welcome. And did I get that right? Did I get you up there, Tara? Thank you. So you know, it's just amazing how much these buttons go for, and buttons that you wouldn't even think. I mean, that's crazy. Oh, these ones I thought were adorable. Okay, these ones probably fluoresce because they look like they're a set of vintage acorn buttons, blue glass. I'll bet money that those fluoresce. Aren't those adorable? Don't clean the buttons. Don't polish the buttons. Don't do anything with the buttons. Don't do it. Okay? Let the people that are getting the buttons clean them how they want them cleaned. Let the people that are getting the vintage silver clean it if they want it cleaned. Don't clean these things. Let the vintage buyers clean them. They get really, some of them will get really ticked off, and you'll never sell it. You'll just never sell it. If you clean, they like those years of grunge on their stuff. They really, really do. They want to be the one to decide whether they're going to clean it or not. Stunning antique ruby tinged yellow paste glass stone button with blown glass pearl. Holy moly. The keywords in that. Look at that. That's gorgeous. Who would have known? They did. 21,318 Hunters Antiques. Same person that had that pink button. I can tell by the... So, buttons, buttons, buttons. I can't tell you how excited I am to have found that website, Grandma's Buttons, linked down below. No, seriously, don't clean the silver, don't clean the brass, don't clean the copper. I mean, wash it, right? If it's like, not the buttons. If you get a copper pot or something like that, or whatever, and it's dirty from just got dirt on it, wash it with soap and water, dry it off, whatever. Don't polish it. Don't try to clean don't try to clean the age off of it. You guys picking on Marie now? Watch out. Watch out. So, I mean, one of these days I'm going to get my camera hooked up. Maybe I can't promise I'm going to do it this week because I'm going to be helping with clean this estate sale out. I have a really nice camera that I can put up, that I can switch to, and we can see things close up. So sooner or later, I will get that hooked up, and then when we clean everything but never polish it, right? And there's some stuff you just really don't need to clean. You can just wipe it off if it's bad, right? Anyway, so boy, I hope you guys learned something. I did. I learned a lot. Buttons is something that we could talk about for a long time. No, you really don't need to polish anything. And another thing about polishing silver, if you don't know, I'm going to tell you. Anything that is silver plate, the same thing with anything that is silver. Every time you polish it, it removes a little bit of the silver. Here, as a matter of fact, I got this. I was going to show this. I just remembered it. I got this at an estate sale. This is, what is it? Right? Silver cream. Guess what's on the sponge? Do you think that's dirt or do you think that's silver? That's silver. That's what it comes off. Uh-oh. Okay. Let the people that purchase the item polish the silver if they want it polished, or the brass or the copper. Just give it a good quick clean if you need to. If you don't, I mean, look at those buttons. My mom makes me polish her items once a year. Well, I would tell I've never polished anybody's silver. Can't your mom polish her own silver? Oh, that's hilarious. Anyway, all right, you guys. I think we went over it. If you have questions, put the lotion on the basket. You know it. You are welcome. Did you see my notes about grandmother's buttons? I might not have. It's extra cash. Oh, so you get paid. That's different. Bye, Glenn. Let's see. I don't think I saw your notes. I did not see them. Constance. Let me go back up here real quick and see if I can find them. Or did you send them to me on Instagram, Constance? You must have. I love you too, girlfriend. I will still give you the buttons when we... Aww. That's hilarious. You're a sweetheart. Okay, I'll give you the other stuff. It's good to have somebody to go to sales with that looks for things and that is willing to teach you and willing to learn from you. And Sherry and I are a pretty good pair. So, all right, you guys, go sort through your buttons. Go look through buttons. Make sure if you go to an estate sale and they were a seamstress or if they had military people, go check out Don the Auction Professor. He has some really, if you want to learn about military buttons, he's your guy. He has the resources. I'm not even, Grandmother's is closing. That vlog, that website is closing. I would go and get everything off of there that you need to get then. You can screenshot it on your phone. So Don the Auction Professor, go check him out. He's got multiple videos on buttons. Multiple videos. All right, you guys, have a great weekend. If you get anything cool or you have some buttons, tag me in a post on Instagram, send me some pictures, and I'll see you next week. Bye.